How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Ayin Aleph, Daf 71 of Masechta Kiddushin. Friends, friends. So we're going weiter in Perek Asar Yuchsin. I don't know what to make of this Perek. I mean, what time is it? It's getting late already. I've been recording late. I'm tired. Sorry for being tired. What do you make of this parak? It's not that hard. It's not that interesting. But it's these kind of big pages, borderline, Agadata. I don't know, I don't really know what to make of it. Alright, I'm gonna start on Daf Ayin Amud Beis all the way at the bottom. Here goes nothing. It's funny, it's these Agadatas that are based on this kind of, I don't know, not quite esoteric, but technical stuff. I don't know, whose lineage is pure. What does that even mean? Awesome. I don't know. When God is going to purify all of the tribes, He's going to purify the tribe of Levi first. I guess if any non-Levites kind of got in there and mixed in over time or whatever. Shenemar is posted as V'yashav Mitzaref Umitar Kesef, that the cleanser and the purifier of the silver is going to cleanse and purify the silver v'tir as Bnei Levi, and he's going to purify Levi. V'zikek osam kazov v'chakesef, and he's going to purify them like gold and like silver. V'hayu la'Hashem magishim mincha b'tzedakah, and they will be bringing forth the flour offerings with righteousness. Amar B'Yishua ben Levi says B'Yishua ben Levi kesef mitar mamzerim. That kesef is mitar mamzerim. Apparently, I guess if you have a mamzer who's got a lot of money, so he buys his way into marrying, a good shidduch or whatever, even though he's a mamzer, and now he's got his way into the community. Shneimar v'yoshev mitzaref mitar kesef, that the purifier of the kesef is going to purify the kesef, the money. What does it mean? The ones who bring forth the flour offering with righteousness. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak says, Rabbi Yitzchak, that the Eibishter did righteousness with the Yidden shemishpacha shenitma nitma. Interesting. That meaning, but the Torah says, right, that a mamzer can't get married in the congregation, and mitzris and edomis, it seems kind of esoteric, right? And how do I know that over the past several millennia, I don't know, how do I know what I am, How do we know that somewhere in there somebody didn't fall under the radar or something? So we say, look, once you're mixed in, you're mixed in. There's no, once you mixed in, you're mixed in, which is interesting. Meaning, how do we know that somewhere in our lineage things didn't get mixed in? I don't know, we don't know. But if it got mixed in, it got mixed in. Okay. Kufa, we said earlier, Amr Yehuda, Amr Shmuel. Kol haratzos isa l'Eretz Yisrael. Okay, all of the lands are considered like a dough compared to, a mixed up dough compared to Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael isa l'Bavel, compared to Bavel, Eretz Yisrael is a mixed up dough, i.e., most mixed up dough, the doughiest is the non-Eretz Yisrael, non-Bavel. The second doughiest is Eretz Yisrael, and the least doughy, the most pure, is Bavel. They wanted to turn the tables during the times of Rebbe and say that actually Bavel was doughier than Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael was the least doughy. And Rebbe says to the people, you're putting thorns in my eyes, because Rebbe came from Hillel, right? Because Hillel, his son was Shimon, his son was Gamliel Azakin, his son was Shimon ben Gamliel. The first one, then there was another Gamliel, then there was Shimon Gamliel, his son, and then Rebbe. So Rebbe Batsim comes from Hillel, and Hillel, of course, Hillel Bavli. Hillel, of course, came from Babylonia. So but the people during the times of Rebbe wanted to make to treat Babylon as being doughy. So therefore, he says that you're putting thorns in my eyes. All right, I guess that's what's also a little bit funny about Asar Yuchsin. It's not hard, but I guess you gotta explain stuff. Anyways, If you want, Yitapli Mochem Reb Chanina Bar Chama. If you want, go to Reb Chanina Bar Chama, Nitpal Imoim. So they went to Reb Chanina Bar Chama. Reb Chanina Bar Chama. So Reb Chanina Bar Chama kind of, was dealing with these people who wanted to make Bavel more doughy and Eretz Yisrael less doughy. But Reb Chanina Bar Chama answers them, Kach Mekublani Rabbi Shmuel Bar Yossi. This is the tradition they have from Rabbi Shmuel Bar Yossi Shom Mishum Aviv, who says this in the name of his father, Rabbi Yossi. Kol Harotzos Yisrael Eretz Yisrael, that all of the lands are very, very doughy as compared to Eretz Yisrael. But Eretz Yisrael Yisrael Bavel, and Eretz Yisrael is doughier than Bavel, and that is that. Sorry people, because I guess that these people were in Eretz Yisrael. During the times of Reb Pinchas, the people, I guess, in Eretz Yisrael wanted to make it so that Bavel was doughier. So Amar Loim, so Pinchas says to the people, so Pinchas says to his attendants, he says, look, here's the strategy. I go into the Beis HaMedrash and I'm going to say 2 vorts. The first one is going to be outrageous, and while the people are distracted thinking about that, I'm going to drop a bomb, but wouldn't be contextually sensitive. I'm going to drop a vart. That's what I drop a vart. Then I'm going to drop a second vart, and that's going to be a very scandal. And then we're going to bolt. We're going to run. So it says, "Kshani omer shnei dvarim," I'm going to give 2 vartlich, 2 varts in the Beis HaMedrash, Tluni barisa, and then I want you to put me on a stretcher, v'rotzu, and run for your lives. Ki'ayil. So Pinchas goes into the Beis HaMedrash. Amalayim, he says to the people, "Ein shchita la'of min haTorah," that mida oraisa, there's no shchita for a bird. At the Yasvi v'kam hayniba, and the people were hemming and hawing. Oh wow, how do we? Oh, no shchita, a bird in the Torah. They're thinking, they're working through the sugya. Amalayim, then he drops a vart. Kol harotzos Yisrael Eretz Yisrael. All of the lands are very, very doughy as compared to Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael Yisrael Bavel, but Eretz Yisrael is doughier than Bavel. Natlu barisa v'rotzu, they put him on a stretcher and they bolted. Rotzu achorav, and the people were very upset and they chased after Pinchas in the stretcher, v'lo yigiu, but they couldn't catch up. Yoshru bodku, and then the people, after the hemming and the hawing, and they wanted to say that Eretz Yisrael was the least doughy of them all. Then they were doing and they were checking until it became dangerous and they stopped. Meaning they were looking through the files and figuring out who's who. They probably stopped by the bungalow colony and got the Yentis to help them out to say, the Yentis, the Yentis are like the intelligence over there, the people intelligence. So they sat with the Yentis and they were saying, "No, tell me about this guy. How's his lineage?" And they say, "Wait, I need low-fat mandel bread." They said, take whatever you want. Diet Coke, low-fat mandel bread, whatever you want. Just, give us the dirt. Give us the juicy stuff. And they had some really juicy information about some people who were dangerous people, and they realized that they wouldn't be able to pursue their vision of making Eretz Yisrael undoughy. Okay. Fine. Where are we? Okay. Amr Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, Heichala, that he's like making like a shvua, like of the Heichal. He's saying, I'm making a shvua. B'yadenu we could kind of go through all the records, sit with the Yentis, and go through all the records and figure out who's who. But what can we do? Because even the Gedolei Ador, their lineage is, I guess, not super clear. So Rabbi Yitzchak and Rabbi Yochanan, who says, what can we do? Ultimately holds like Rabbi Yitzchak, who had said, that once a family is sort of mixed in and mixed together, so they're mixed together, and we're not gonna, it's okay, don't worry about it. So therefore, Rabbi Yochanan wasn't sort of, so stuck on like figuring out who's who and who's apostle and who's Torah. Amar Abai says, Abai, I found an Amitanina with Takoichid of a Mishnah. Mishpachas Beisat Tzrifa, Hoysi Bevar Yardin, in Avar Yardin, on the opposite side of the Jordan, on the east bank, there was a family called Beisat Tzrifa, Bevar Yardin, and they were Taka Ksher. They were Miyuchosim. But nonetheless, Vrichaka Ben Sion Bezra, but Ben Sion was a powerful fellow. He decided that they were no good. And there was Taka, another family, Darin, who was no good, but Ben Sion brought them close. So Bezra, forcefully, he was a powerful fellow. So we see that this whole concept of families, and it's a mess. It's a mess. Kigon Elu. Okay, I'm sorry. So Kagon Elu, and then continues the Mishnah that these examples that like Ben Sion, all the people know that Beisat Tzrifa was Ksherim and this other family was not, but Ben Sion was bringing them close. So then in this case, when Eliyahu Hanavi comes, he's going to be Mitayr, Lerachik, L'Karib, he's going to set the record straight. But kigon elu diyadin al mishpachosh nitma. But that's specifically in this case because the people really know, who's which family was the kosher family, which one wasn't. But the other people that are like all mixed together, Eliyahu Navi is not gonna come, to Eretz Yisrael and start pointing out, that you thought that you were not a mamzer, you're actually a mamzer, right? He's not gonna start doing that. Okay. Tana, we learn a brayso oracheres also. There was another family who had tainted lineage, but the rabbis did not want to reveal who that was. But the Talmid Chachamim would let their children and their students know once every 7 years who this family was. Some say twice every 7 years. Amar of Nachman. It makes sense, like the opinion says that they would let their students and their children know once every 7 years, not twice. As we learn in the Braysa Areni, if a fellow says, I'm going to be a Nazir unless I reveal some dirt on some families, rather be a Nazir and don't rat on the families. So we see that it's not a thing that we like to do, to kind of rat out people, and therefore it makes more sense that the ratting would happen once every 7 years, not twice every 7 years. Amar Rabba Bar Chana Rabbi Yochanan Shem Ben Arba Osius, the Yud Kei Vav Kei, the 4-letter name. Chacham Mosen also the Talmidei and Pam Achas b'Shavua, the teachers. The Talmid Chacham would explain, I guess, like the deeper meaning of Yud Kei Vav Kei to their students once every 7 years. V'amila Pamayim b'Shavua, some say twice every 7 years. Amar of Nachman Bar Yitzchak Mistavak Mandam Pamachas b'Shavua. It makes sense, like the opinion who says once every 7 years. The Chsiv, as the Pasuk says, Zeshmi le'olam le'aleim Chsiv, that the Pasuk says Zeshmi le'olam, this is my name forever. But there's no Vav in le'olam, it's le'aleim, i.e. to keep it quiet. You don't want to be discussing Yud Kei Vav Kei so openly. So once every 7 years makes more sense. Rava Savar Lemedjushe B'Pirka. Rava figured that he would talk about the Yud Kei Vav Kei in his shir. Amle Usava, a certain elder, which is could be Eliyahu Hanavi, says le'aleim Ksiv. It says to keep it kind of quiet, not to talk about Yud Kei Vav Kei in your shir. Rabbi Vina asks, Ksiv Zeshmi Uchsiv Zezichri. On the one hand, the pasuk says Zeshmi, this is my name, but also says this is how I mentioned. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, look, my name is not pronounced in the way that is written. Nichtav ani b'yud hey v'nikra ba'alef dalet. That I am, it's written Yud Kei Vav Kei. My name is written Yud Kei Vav Kei, but it's pronounced Aleph Dalet Nun Yud. Taner Rabbanan the Rabbi Stapa Rishon Shem Ben Shtem Esrei Osius, that the 12-letter name of God. What are there's there's Av Sag Ma Ban. Is that what it is? Josh Weinberg, Dovro Weinberg. What is it? Av Sag Ma Ban, right? Av is the 72 letter name, Ayin Beis. Sag is the 63 letter name. Ma is 45. And Ban is 52. Is that what we're talking about? What's this? The 12 letter name? Okay. So initially the 12 letter name of God, they would be liberal with it and let the people know it. But when the nudniks became nudniki, lots of them, they would only tell the people about the 12 letter name to the private, the tznuim of the priests. And then these priests who knew the 12 letter name, when they were duchening, when they were doing the Birkas Kayanim and they got up to the Shem Hashem, so while the other priests were singing, they would say the 12 letter name. Tani, we learn in the price. Reb Tarfon says, one time, says Reb Tarfon, I went with my uncle to do Birkas Kayanim, v'itesi ozni, and I paid attention, Eitzel Kohen Gadol, by the Kohen Gadol, v'shemati shivli Hashem b'ni masech v'kayanim, and I taka heard, says Reb Tarfon, I listened and I taka heard that the Kohen Gadol was saying the 12 letter name while everybody else was singing a little bit. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rab, Shem ben Arbaim v'shtayim Osios, the 42 letter name, Ein Mos and also Ella, we only give it Lemisha Tznuah ve'enov ve'onov, somebody who is private and humble, ve'omid b'chatzi yomav, and he's already halfway through his life, ve'enu koes, and he's a fellow, doesn't get upset, ve'enu mishtaker, doesn't get fashnikit, ve'enu mamir al midosav, and he's not he doesn't have a big ego, he doesn't care too much about his pride, because we want to make sure that he's not going to use the name in vain. Somebody who knows the 42 letter name and he's careful with it, and one who preserves it in purity, he's beloved above, and he's cute below, and his fear is upon the creations, and he inherits two worlds, this world and the next world. Wow. That sounds pretty gewaldig. Shmuel says Shmuel. Mishmi Disavin, the name of an elder. Bavel, b'cheskas k'sheira omedes, achivadalach b'menifsila. So Bavel, you can assume that a stam, a person in Bavel, is from kosher lineage, unless it becomes known that it's not the case. Sha'iratos, but in the other lands, you assume by default that they are from tainted lineage until you find out details about how it's actually kosher, the lineage. Eretz Yisrael, the muchzak lefsul pasul. If you have a chazaka that somebody's pasul, so then he's pasul. Muchzak lekosher kosher. If you have a chazaka that he's kosher, then he's kosher. Al gufa kasher. But this is inherently problematic. On the one hand, Omar muchzak lefsul pasul. On the one hand, you're saying, look, if there's a chazaka that a certain fellow is pasul, then he's pasul. Hastama kosher, implying that by default he would be kosher. But then he said muchzak lekosher, that only if you have a chazaka that he's kosher, do we assume he's kosher? Hastama pasul, but by default it'll be pasul. So which one is it? Amar Ravuna by tachlif mishmei derav lo kasha kan lasio isha kan laotzi isha miyado. It depends. If he is not yet married, so then we are more stringent and we assume by default that he's pasul. But if he's already married, and the question is, should we break up the marriage? So in that case, you assume that he is kosher. Amr of Yosef says, of Yosef kosher sichasu bebavel masin lo isha. If a fellow speaks Babylonian, so you can assume that he's from kosher lineage and he can get married. But nowadays that there are imposters and lookalikes. So Chashinan, we don't just assume that if you speak Babylonian, you're from Bavel. Wow. Friends, I'm getting tired, which means my brain kind of shuts off, but this stuff is, it's not that hard, so let's just get through it. Okay. Zeiri, Zeiri was trying to avoid Rabbi Yochanan, the Hava Omarle, because Rabbi Yochanan would keep on bugging him, Nesiv Barti, marry my daughter. Interesting, and Zeiri didn't want to marry Rabbi Yochanan's daughter, if you can imagine such a thing. Okay, so now the thing is that Zeiri's lineage came from Bavel, right? Whereas Rabbi Yochanan's from Eretz Yisrael. So if you Rabbi Yochanan's lineage is more doughy than his, so he wanted to avoid marrying Rabbi Yochanan's daughter, because Rabbi Yochanan's daughter comes from doughier lineage than he, Reb Zera. So one time Zeiri and Rabbi Yochanan were traveling together. I guess he was not able to entirely avoid Rabbi Yochanan. They came to some kind of a puddle. Rabbi Yochanan a kisve. So Zeiri put Rabbi Yochanan on his shoulders, which is a little bit crazy because Rabbi Yochanan apparently was very, very large. Okay, but anyways, Zeiri put Rabbi Yochanan on his shoulders, and he was taking Rabbi Yochanan through the puddle. So then Rabbi Yochanan asks Zeiri, he says, I don't understand. You can learn the Torah of Eretz Yisrael, you can come here and learn from me and learn Torah in Eretz Yisrael, but you can't marry the girls of Eretz Yisrael, the daughters of Eretz Yisrael. So, my daitich, Rabbi Yochanan continues, I don't understand, what's your problem with marrying my daughter? Ilema midetnan asar yuchsanolu mi bavel kana leviye. So now, if you're gonna, right, I guess, etc. Yeah, v'chule. So if you're gonna say, well, because the Mishnah says that Ezra took all of these questionable people with him to Eretz Yisrael. And Rabbi Yochanan, you're in Eretz Yisrael, so therefore your lineage is not as pure? Wait, what? No. So Rabbi Yochanan saying this, oh, my brain's turning off. Dag nabbit. Rabbi Yochanan saying to Zeiri, you know what? Are you being concerned about this Mishnah that implies that all of the riffraff went to Eretz Yisrael, and you're concerned that my daughter is riffraff? What do you think? All of the Kohanim and all of the Levis and all the Yisraels went to Eretz Yisrael? Just like some Kohanim, Levis, and Yisraels remained in Eretz Yisrael. Remained in Eretz Yisrael. Remained in Bavel. So then also some of the riffraff also remained in Bavel. So Rabbi Yochanan is saying to Zeiri, look, you can't just assume that Eretz Yisrael is the Bavel is better than Eretz Yisrael. There's some riffraff in Bavel as well. Dang it, my brain has switched off. Dag nabbit. All right, let me get to. There's a dot coming up, and then I'm gonna get into power mode. Fine. Ishtimitze hada Omar Rabbi Lazar. Now, when Rabbi Yochanan said that some of the riffraff remained in Bavel, he was unaware of that which Rabbi Lazar says, Lo Allah Ezra mi Bavel at Shasok Solas Nikiya v'Allah, that when Ezra left Bavel to go to Eretz Yisrael, he made it like fine flour, and actually none of the riffraff remained. Alright, I'm gonna just pause the video for a second to recalibrate, because I need my brain for like the next 10 minutes. Alright, I just gotta power through it. I think it's maybe tops 10 minutes. Ula ikla the Pumbedisa. Oh yeah, I gotta get my Gantz Koyach in it. So Ula visited Pumbedisa. Oh, Levei Rav Yehuda. Oh, he visited Rav Yehuda. Chazil Rav Yehuda, Brei. Chavi Rav Yitzchak, Brei Rav Yehuda. And he saw Rav Yitzchak, the son of Rav Yehuda, the Gadal, Vilo Nasiv, that he was getting older and not married. Amalei, my time loka mansiv lei, my itzei levrei. So Ula says to Rav Yehuda, why don't you find the shidduch for your son Yitzchak? Itchi. Amalei, miyodainim eicha ansiv. So Rav Yehuda says, how am I supposed to find pure lineage for my son? Amalei. So Ula responds, you know what? It's not like we know exactly where we came from. Maybe we come from those of whom it's written in Eicha, Noshim B'Tzion Inu, Besulos Ba'ar Yehuda, that they well, this is never a good thing to talk about, but certainly not now. But they raped the women in Zion, and no, I can't say it because one time I think I said that and they blocked the YouTube video. So they were ma'anes the women in Zion, and Besulas Bar Yehuda, and the Besulas in the cities of Yehuda. And if you think that an Ovid Kochavim or an Eved who sleeps with a Jew, the Vlad is kosher. But still, maybe we come from the from that which it says Vashochvim Amitos Shein. Those who sleep on beds of, I think, ivory, maybe Usuchim al Arsosam, and I don't know, they're nudniki on their beds. Ve'amar Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina says, Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina, Elu b'nei Adam ha'mashtina mayim b'fnei mitoseim arumim. These are the people who pish in front of their beds naked. All right. When Megadev ba Rababo, and Rababo got very upset. He says, Hainu dichsiv lochen ato yiglu b'rosh golem. Mishum de mashtinim mayim b'fnei mitoseim arumim, because they pish in front of their beds when they're naked. Yiglu b'rosh golem, they need to be exiled at the head of all the exiles. Elam Rababo, rather says Rababo, Elu b'nei Adam she'ochlim v'shosin zeim zeh. These are the people that they eat and they drink with each other. Madbikim mitoseim zobazon, they put their beds next to each other. Machlifin shoseim zelozeh, and they swap wives. Masrichim arsosim b'shichvaz zera she'eno shelahem, and they putrefy their beds with seed that isn't theirs, and therefore, so Ula is saying, look, you have no clue who you come from. Ultimately, you can't have any clue who you come from. So Amar Le Echinayvit. So Yehuda says, okay, so what should I do for my son Itchi, for my son Rabbi Yitzchok? That how am I going to find him a shidduch? So Amar Le, so Ula says, Zil Basur. Dang my throat. Zilbasur shtikusa, go after somebody who's quiet, because as we learned, right? We learned I think yesterday, maybe we learned the other day, that somebody who's a loud mouth is probably apostle, but somebody who's quiet, then they're probably kosher. Ki ay debadke pnei ma'irava, that like in the way that they would check the people in Eretz Yisrael, ki minsu Bei Trey Bade Adadi, if two people were fighting with each other and arguing with each other, Chazu Heiminai with the Kadim Vishasik, they would try to see which one kind of became quiet first, and that was probably the one who was kosher. Amrei Haimiyuchas Tfei, where am I? Okay, Haimiyuchas Tfei. Oh yeah, so meaning so Amrei Haimiyuchas Tfei, that they would say that the one who was quiet, he is the one that has better lineage. Amr Rav says, Rav Shtikusei de Bavel anu yichusa. The fact that in Bavel there's such great lineage is because they keep quiet. Ini, is that so? Ve'ikla Rav levei bar Shafi Chala, that Rav visited the house of Rav Shafi Chala, uvadakbu and he checked them to check their lineage. My lab bi yichus bi yachsusa. It must be that they were checking his lineage low. No, b'shtikusa. No, they were checking if he keeps quiet. Hachi kamalu. And this is what Rab instructed the people who were checking him out. Badoku, check ishaske ilushaske, if he keeps quiet or not. Amar V'Yehuda Amar Rab. If you see that two people are arguing and fighting, shemetz psul yesh bechad man, so then one of them has some kind of issue with his lineage, and therefore they're fighting and arguing so that they won't, their kids won't marry each other because one of them has a psul. Amr Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, if you see two families that fight with each other, one of the families has some kind of issue, a psul in the lineage, and that's why they're fighting, so that the two families won't marry each other because one of them has an issue with their lineage. Amr Papa is a Papa Sava, Bishmei Dirab, Bavel, Bria. Bavel is healthy. You can assume that the people there are kosher. Mishon on the other end, Mesa. You assume everybody there is Mamzer. Modai Chole, Modai is considered like somebody who is sick. Elam goseses, whereas Elam is considered like somebody who's like on their deathbed, who's like dying. So ma bein cholin, the ghosts, and what's the difference between cholin and gosesin? Rov cholin l'chaim, rov gosesin l'misa. Most cholim, most people who are simply sick, merely sick, live. But people who are deathly ill end up dying. So therefore by comparing, I lost my place. So by comparing Madai to a chole and Elam to goseses, it means in Madai most people are kosher, whereas in Elam most people are pasul. There goes my brain. Friends, peace out.